This month, the federal government of Nigeria approved a policy aimed at providing more effective regulatory, legislative and institutional frameworks for PPPs. Here, to tell us more about the importance of PPPs in Nigeria, is Ayuli Jemide, lead partner at Detail, which recently won the World Finance Legal Award for Best PPP Firm Nigeria 2013. Ayuli, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Why is this award significant to Detail?
I think that pioneers need to be rewarded. And, Detail has been a pioneer on two fronts. One, that as a firm, we've broken the traditional way of practicing law in Nigeria. All the other firms are full-service firms, and we've decided to stay as a corporate and commercial boutique, which means we don't go to court at all. We just stay with the clients on the business side and focus on being proactive. On the second front, we've tried to push emerging practice areas. And before the other law firms know it, there's a new practice area, and Detail is the pioneer of it. And PPPs is one of those areas, that we've, really brought out into the market.
What are Detail's areas of focus and what sets it apart from other legal service providers?
About 5 or 6 things we focus on. So it's PPPs, it's finance, it's real estate, it's capital markets, it's power, and it's corporate and commercial. What sets us apart? I think it's 3 things. It's innovation. We're a firm that is known to be innovative, and Chambers and Partners in their last research actually mentioned that Detail is an innovative law firm. Number 2 is focus. We realize as a firm that we can't be everything to everybody. So, we picked our areas, we pick our clients, and we stay focused at all times. And the third thing is quality service. And, talking about quality service, Martin Barr, who was the gentleman who, built McKinsey to be a top management consulting firm today. In a book about him, he was quoted as saying that if you focus on making money, you would lose the client. But if you focus on serving the client, you will make money and you will keep the client. And that's what Detail really stands for.
Why did Detail decide to focus on PPPs within Nigeria?
First and foremost, it was a marketing strategy. We wanted to develop an emerging practice because we tried to develop areas where we're not competing with other people. So we're competing with them in their traditional areas, and then we're developing areas where we're not competing with them, and we're just more or less the only players on that field. But when we got into it, we found out that it was actually rewarding because, infrastructure projects are tangible. You can see, what happens at the end of the day. So if I'm working on a railway project and I'm up all night, I hear the trains in my head, and it keeps me going.
Have there been any recent regulatory amendments regarding PPP laws?
PPP in Nigeria is actually emerging, and the governments, both at the federal and at the state level, have been very bullish with, making sure that the legal and regulatory environment is more robust. At the federal level, they've passed an act that sets up the Regulatory Commission. And that commission has come up with a lot of guidelines, and they're in the process of drafting regulations. There's also the infrastructure finance policy that's currently being drafted, and my firm happens to be a part of that, the consortium drafting that policy. At the state level, many states have passed PPP laws and have passed procurement laws to support PPP procurement. They've also set up PPP units headed by very intelligent people who understand project finance and have been trained in PPPs. So there's a lot going on.
Tell us, as lead partner of Detail, what drives you and what defines your actual practice?
I think it's 3 things. First and foremost, the need to build an institution that's transparent, that's process-driven, and will leave a legacy. The other thing is organic growth. At the end of the day, a law practice is about people. So we're very strong on how you grow your people, how you train them, how you help them to create their own individual spheres of influence, how you bring them in and let them see the bigger picture and where they can actually get to. The third thing is reputation. We are very strong about reputation. We don't take on, every client. If we think we would suffer reputational risk from taking on a particular client, it's not relevant how much they pay us. We'll turn them down.
And finally, where do you see Detail in the near future?
I think to answer that question, let's start with where we are now. Detail is probably in the top 10 of firms in Nigeria. And I can say this based on the rankings and the research from Chambers and Partners and IFLR. So what we want to do is just, keep our focus, keep doing what we're doing right, and hope to be at the top, #1 corporate and commercial law firm in another 5 years.
Ayuli, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Aline. It was my pleasure.